Hello and welcome back to PrimaFacie. I'm going to be taking you on a brief walkthrough of the latest version that we've upgraded to. We've added a number of enhancements and additional data points that you can capture and use for autofill purposes. So I'm going to start here. This is the main page. Let's begin with connecting your account and just getting things set up generally. Up here in the corner, this will be the name that you had signed up with. And here we have the administrator panel. Here you can update your profile. So let's actually start there. This is where you'll put in your information and your law firm information. You can just populate all these fields with that information, and this information will be used to autofill those forms. So we'll just fill that, click update, that'll update, and again, let's go back to that menu. Now we're going to click on the administrator panel. Now as you'll notice in this administrator panel we have your tenant info, which we just put some random information in there. We have the custom case types. This is where you can go if you have a particular immigration case that you want to create a template for. Now you can do that for immigration, California, Michigan, or Illinois, or Cook County. This is the billing tab. Because you're on a demo account, as you can see down here in the corner, there's no billing information because we didn't require you to put your credit card information for that. We have a number of users. You have one user active of one available. Custom fields, again that's because this is a demo account. Custom fields comes into play once we deal with your sync with Clio. We'll look at your subscription here. Again, there's no card information. Before your trial's up, you'll want to put your credit card information in there if you want to continue with PrimaFacie. Otherwise, when you log in, it'll just bring you to this page. Alright, the Clio tab. All of you wonderful Clio subscribers out there are going to want to pay very close attention to this. And then, if you're not a Clio subscriber, then it's worth learning how to connect your Dropbox. Just come here, click the green button. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you're a Clio subscriber, don't bother with this. You're going to do all that Dropbox syncing or Google Drive syncing or Box syncing directly through Clio. And there's good reason for that. Take my word on it. So, let's connect to our Clio account here. You just click on that icon there. And I'm already logged into my Clio account in a different tab here. So it brings me here and it says, hey, do you want to connect? Yes, you want to connect. There we go. Okay, we're back in. Now, from here, what do you want to do? You want to go back to your administrator panel. First, you'll see that the Clio icon is enabled up here. Clicking on that Clio icon brings you to Clio. You guessed it. All right, let's go back to our program. Now, if you go back to the administrator panel, you'll see that the Clio tab now has this other information connected to the law office of whatever your name is or whatever your firm's name is. And it has your email address for that there. And now you have two options. You can either revoke access if you want to disconnect your Clio account from PrimaFacie, or if you want to import custom fields. Now this is going to be very useful for a lot of you because we store lots of information in custom fields in Clio, or at least you've become accustomed to do so. So to be able to match that with information inside PrimaFacie, you're going to click here to import those custom fields. And here you see there are some that aren't currently supported but will be before long, and the rest are supported. So I would suggest you just click import all, and all the ones that it can import, it will import. Okay, and you can close this box now. And now you're going to go to the custom fields tab. Here, actually what we want to do is refresh that because it's tab based. Now let's go to custom fields, and you can see these are the fields that we've imported from Clio. Alright, so this is the name in Clio on this side here. You can tell it's got the little Clio icon, and you want to match it to one of the modules inside of PrimaFacie. So for example, immigration status, you'll match with current immigration status. Social security number, you'll match with social security number. Marriage place, you'll match with marriage place, and etc. and so on for the rest of those. And then whenever you import a contact from Clio, it will show that that information is matched. So let's just type in this person's information here. You want to import those information. There's actually no information stored in custom fields for that particular content. If there were, you would see it matched here, and then you just click import to import that person. Right? And that's the other thing. Because people will ask, and you will ask, and you're probably wondering, alright, I've connected my accounts, now how do I bring all of my information in from Clio and put it into PrimaFacie? And the answer is you don't. You don't want to do that. Actually, the only thing you want to do is you want to connect your accounts together, and then whoever you need to make a case for, make forms for, in Prima, you'll just add them one at a time as you search for them in this search box. So it really doesn't add much to your workflow either way, because what you're doing is you're saying, all right, the first time I need to talk about this person whose name is tester001, you're going to click them. It's going to bring you to this import user page. Now you'll see that this individual does have some information that will come in through the custom fields. It's really just FYI. You can bring in any or all or a selection of the cases that you want to import. If you don't import them now, you can import them later. But you just click import, and all of a sudden, that individual and all of their information is now in PrimaFacie. What does that let you do? Well, you go to your cases tab. You can take one of these cases. If you're working on one of these cases already and you want to keep the case number in the format, you click on it. You can click edit case type. You can select what type of case it is. Let's say it's an I-130 petition case. Click change, and what that'll do is that'll load in all the case flow items, checklist item, and list of forms that existed in that template. Now, it doesn't delete any of your notes. I didn't have any notes in there to begin with, but it won't delete your notes, and it won't delete your tasks in that case either. So you can easily go and edit those case types to add these other features that we provide if you would like. Now, some people are going to ask, all right, I'm thinking workflow. I'm thinking, how is it that we should handle bringing in new contacts and new clients? You have two options. Once your account is synced, you can either create those contacts in Clio by going to the contacts and clicking on, here it is, new person, and creating that test in from Clio. Would be the last name. We're just going to leave the other stuff blank for now because we're just illustrating. So now we've created this individual in Clio, and now let's say, all right, now we've got some immigration forms we got to do for this person. Okay, not a problem. And so what we're going to do is search for that contact that we just created in Clio. We named him test in from Clio. We'll click on that. We can import it here, and we can bring that person into PrimaFacie. Okay, that's simple. You can see they're imported. Here we are, and we can create a case. We can do whatever we want to do. All right, now the other option is from PrimaFacie. Now that you have the two services connected, you can actually create a new contact from here. And what does that let you do? It lets you define the person's middle name correctly right off the bat. First name, last name. Now, of course, you know Clio doesn't do middle names. And it lets you put in some more information right away as well if you like. The only required fields you can see is a first and a last name. If somebody, for example, only has a first name, you can just put a dot. Let's add, edit, and sync with Clio. So when you create a contact in Prima, it's going to turn around and create that content or that contact in Clio as well. So you can see I've created it here. You get this little purple button that says Go Clio. Let's click on that. And it brings you to Bill's contact. Okay. So for him as well, if you're going to be doing any billing, time tracking, timekeeping, calendaring, invoices, using the communications features, using the Clio Connect feature, you can still do all of that. And look at this. Whenever you create a case inside Clio, create a new matter for him. Just a new matter. In Prima we call it cases. Same thing. Alright, so there's that. And let's go back here now. We're going to refresh. So you need to give it a chance to refresh. Click on cases. It's not there right away, right? That's true. You got to go to the Clio Sync tab. Here it is. Here's the case number 92 from Clio. None of that's defined. It's assigned to the attorney. And you can go ahead and click that import case. Now, that case will be in PrimaFacie. Let's look here. There it is. All right, so that's option one. You can create your cases in Clio. Now, the other option is you can create them in Prima as well. And here's why. You've got your case types right away. Another I-130 family petition. Pick your practice area, the contact attorney. Click add. Now, clicking add, you're creating the case in PrimaFacie. All right, we're in the case right here. If you go back to your contact bill and you go to your case list, here it is, case number 93. Let's go to Clio. It's going to take a second to refresh. And now that you're in Clio, look at your matters. You have a case number 93, I-130 petition for alien relative from PrimaFacie. So again, any of your billing, time tracking, invoicing, communications, email tracking, all that stuff you can do in here as well. All right. So what you can do is you can create all of your stuff in Clio and then import it into Prima, or you can, at least if you already have your case or your Prima connected to your Clio, you can create everything in Prima and it's going to push it into Clio as well. All right. Now, that's also going to happen both ways automatically without having to click extra buttons for notes and tasks. You create a note in Prima. It's going to push it into Clio. So let's click that Go Clio button. And we were in case number 93. Is that what it was? No, we weren't in case number 93. We were at the contact page. Alright, so at the contact page, let's go back here like this. Here you can see that note that we added in Prima showed up here. And if you add a note here, Clio note, save that. Let's go back to Prima. And you know it's going to show up here. Whoop. It didn't show up. Why? Because look, the way that we're doing two-way syncing now, you're going to get a little button when there's an update from Clio. You will just have to click that. Yes, update it. Now it's going to be here. There it is. See? All right. That's just a way of managing the flow of data between Clio and Prima to make sure one system doesn't overwhelm the other and that everything works smoothly. So, notes will sync both ways at the contact page. Tasks will not sync at all at the contact page. Okay? So, there's no tasks at the contact page in Clio, nothing to worry about. If you go into a case, both the tasks and the notes will sync both ways. And we did that so that if you or your staff are adding notes into Prima because they're working on the forms in the case already and they think of something, not a problem. It's already now going to be in that case in Clio, so you can add a time entry to it and put that on your bill. Okay, so that's how we handle the two-way syncing. So there's a couple options. You can decide to create all your stuff in Clio and then bring it into Prima, or create it all in Prima and push it to Clio. Next matter of business. You can see up here is a Clio icon that indicates that we're connected still well to Clio. You shouldn't have any disconnection issues. If there's a problem with your Clio account, like maybe you forget to pay your bill, that could become disconnected and then you would see that turn red. And then when you log in, you're going to get a message that says, hey, if something's wrong with your Clio account, go check here. And if it says anything other than this, then you need to click that Clio Connect again, reauthorize it, and get connected again. It'll refresh your token. Okay. What else do we have? This is the phone call module here. If you want to monitor your phone calls through here, you can do that. That is not something that'll sync with Clio. This is for current pending tasks. That does sync with Clio. What else do we have? As you can see on the front page here, we have information on priority dates. People will ask, well, where do you put in the information for the priority dates? Well, let's go back to Bill. We go to Bill's contact information. Right here, clicked on Edit, and you can put in priority date information. So if we say 01/01/2011, let's say he's from Mexico, and let's call him an F2A, so that petition date is going to be current, and edit and sync with Clio. So, there we go. Oh, we didn't have a last name. Yeah, because we tried to be cheap and put a space in there last time. Let's give him a good old-fashioned name of Smith. Now we can add it and sync with Clio. Here we go. Now when we go to our home page, there he is, right? Because he's got a priority date. That's the category, that's the date, that's the country, that's the type. He's current. So he's current both for filing and for final action. So that's a very useful tool. And let's say that we go through and we contact him, he comes in, we're working his case. Great. And maybe you don't want him on that list anymore. So you just click there, edit the contact, and in the priority date section you say remove from current priority date report. And again, you're going to edit that. Now when you go home, guess who doesn't show up? He's gone. because we took care of it. All right. Break. Break. What else? Auto-filling forms. The biggest thing you're going to want to know how to do is auto-filling forms. So let's start on the left-hand side here of the main menu. See this tab called Custom Roles? If you use an interpreter for immigration or state forms, you will use this. You will add your standard interpreters in there, or any interpreter that you want to use to populate forms with, right? Click Add, fill out their information here. Let's just come up with a quick name. Of course, this is all this nonsense information. Now click Save. Okay, there's their information. If you do immigration, you can ignore courts, judges, attorneys, prosecutors, and friends of the court, because those aren't needed for the immigration form, so don't worry about those. We'll handle the rest of the information another way. So let's go to our good friend Bill Smith here, and recall that we created that I-130 family petition for him. We'll click on that. Okay. And we're going to go to Forms, and who can we choose to fill the role on the forms? We can choose Bill Smith, because this form doesn't call for an interpreter. Don't need it. Let's go to I-130, petitioner, beneficiary. You can fill in Bill Smith. You can fill in Bill Smith. Now, the place to put other individuals in to fill those roles is actually back at the contact level. You're going to go to the contact page, and you're going to relate other contacts to this person. Okay. So you can, from here, you can create a new person. Let's just call it spouse, middle, last name Maria. Okay. Just the required information. I'm not going to populate the other stuff right now. Now that we've added that, you can see that. Oh, we go to last name Maria spouse's page. We're going to go back to Bill Smith here. And now in his related contacts, you'll see her. So now when you go to his case, for a form that has a role that calls for it, you can use her too. Alright, so now we can do a G28 for Bill Smith and a G28 for this spouse. Okay. So just as an example, let's open that form. And you'll see it's got her information there. Okay. And let's go back. So for example, on the I-130, you have a petitioner. Let's say it's Bill. And the beneficiary is going to be the spouse. That's all set. Now you're also going to notice that there's some expiration dates on these immigration forms. And as you well know, USCIS is very popular for either updating them or for not updating them. And then you can use an expired form until the new one is required and mandatory. So what we've done is we've just said, okay, whenever there's an expired form, we're going to make it red, and we're going to throw this little warning, form expired, please see instructions for form validity. Break. Okay, now let's go back to the related contacts page, because I showed you how we added a spouse. Okay. Now you have the option of naming the relationship here. As you know, sometimes that's used in the forms. So we have spouse, father, mother, other, daughter, son, sibling, all these other family relationships. Okay. You're going to want to define those if it's appropriate. Otherwise, you can leave it at none, or you can just write other as well. That's fine, totally acceptable. And you can fill out as much information as you know is going to be necessary. For example, if you're doing an I-130, you probably don't need the passport country, citizenship, well, passport country, passport number, or I-94 of your children. Right? So if this is your child, that's not required information. You should have a general idea of what's going to be needed on the I-130 as well. Now, for example, let's go to that I-130 petition, and let's look at, well, let's just pull open the G28 for Bill Smith. Okay. Now, if you see, well, first we're going to put in a form number, right? If you see there's some information that you didn't previously populate, like, for example, a middle name. If you type in a middle name here, it does not reverse populate. Okay? And the reason it doesn't reverse populate is for consistency. We want to have minimal errors in the system, and we don't want to be able to duplicate errors unnecessarily in the system as well. Now you'll notice that when we entered that information it flashed green. That means that data was saved to the server. So for this form, his name is going to show up right there. Okay, for other forms it will not. If you want it to do that for all forms, here's what you do. Close that form, go back to his contact information, click Edit Contact, and let's give Bill the middle name of Sue. Alright. Add, edit, sync with Clio. We're going to do that. Now it's not actually going to sync the middle name with Clio because Clio has no place for middle name yet. But we go back to our cases. Go back to that I-130 petition. And let's go to our forms. Okay. And now you can say autofill all. So anywhere that you had him listed before, where it's going to have maybe some old information or no information, you click autofill all again. It's going to update any information that you have in his contact information. It's going to put it in those forms now. Okay, so click autofill all. You'll see that it triggers it as being autofilled again. And now you can click on the G28. And his middle name is now Sue. A boy named Sue. If you don't know that song, you should look it up. Okay, so going back to the theory of autofill and the logic behind our autofilling. You know, admittedly, we don't auto-populate everything. It's not the point of it. The point is to autofill the common stuff that will be repeated and could be prone to errors. So addresses, phone numbers, anything that you can find in Bill's contact page here, you'll be able to autofill. Now, also look here. Under info, there's general. That's going to show the stuff that you typed in his edit contact page. Also, we have address. We're going to add a new address for Bill, and we're going to name it something. This can just be a nickname, so if you want to just be remembering its home in care of Sue, address 123 Appleton Street. That's my dummy address. Put him in Alaska. All right, here we go. So now we have an address here, and you can define that as either simply a physical address, a mailing address, or a foreign address would be the foreign mailing address, right? A foreign address. You can add as many addresses as you like, and it's going to always push those into Clio as well. So let's just add a work address, make it the same one, edit it and sync with Clio. There we go. Right? And again, you can list that as mailing, list it as foreign or the physical address. Okay, if you don't have one physical address. We also have a module for previous addresses. As you type in information there, actually let me go to, I don't have previous addresses in any of those. When you add these, you know, there's going to be a from and a to date. Right? So I lived there from 1 of 2011 to 1 of 2012, for example. And we're just going to add another dummy address in there. Okay. When you add another address, you're also going to define when it was from. So let's say 101 of 2013, 101 of 2014. Okay. And we'll just apartment number on that one, and I'm just going to fill in the blanks here. That's the zip code. All right. It's going to arrange it newest to oldest automatically. And that's also the order it's going to autofill your forms where it calls for previous addresses. Okay. Phone numbers is a similar way. You just add here, and you can put in some other information there. Add that, and then you can define this as work, home, mobile, fax, pager, if anybody has a pager still, Skype or other. And the reason we did it this way is because for those of you who are joining us from INS Zoom, INS Zoom handles these different models for phone numbers, and we want to save as much data of yours as possible. Some people have asked, oh, well, why haven't you been faster at getting more INS Zoom data in? Well, it's complicated. But the good news is now if you are an INS Zoom subscriber and you want to switch to PrimaFacie, we can import your data, even if it's a lot, right? And we can save a lot of it. Job history here as well, same idea as the previous addresses. It'll arrange that by the dates. Educational history, same deal. It'll arrange it by dates. and if there's any custom fields. All right, so I think that should answer most of the questions that you're going to have. Trying to anticipate as much as possible. I know the video went a little bit long, but I hope you got some good background on what the latest version of PrimaFacie is able to do, and hope you can see how it's going to save time and money and headache, and it's going to just work. Right? You get to the forms real quickly. I mean, from the contact page, it's okay, let's pick a case, and either I'm going to do a predefined case type, or I'm going to create just a custom case type, or I'm going to just go to a default banana case, whatever you want to do. You can go there, add all the forms you need. You do that right from here. So say right there you need a G28, just type in 28. It's going to look for it. It'll take partial names. Click add, define whose that is, because you've already created the linked or related contacts, so that was going to be for Bill. And now you've got 99% of this G28 done. It used to take 5 or 10 or more minutes because the tab index in the government forms was broken. We fixed it, by the way. You can see here that the tab order is fixed. It's done in a matter of less than a minute, depending on your efficiency at clicking. So there, you can download it, save it to your server, save it to your Dropbox, save it to wherever you want. Just put it on the desktop there. And voila, with the barcode and everything. So I hope it's been informational. Hope it's been fun. If there's questions here you haven't answered, please go to our website before you give me a call. Just go to the how-to videos. We cover a lot of information there. Go to the frequently asked questions. If it's still not there, you're still having an issue, give me an email, support@primafacienow.com, or you can call us at 616-422-5812. You can also contact us on our website. Let me show you. Here we go. There's a little chat box here. During business hours, type in your name, email, phone number, type us a message, click submit. If it's after hours, you can still send it to us. We'll get you the next day. And if it's during business hours, we'll be able to talk to you then. So, thank you very much.